Hello everybody, this is General Yanis with another Death Card Tactics video. Today I'm going to be looking at the Daemon Prince and making an overall review of how I see him used and what weapon options can be the best. Before I get started, I would like to say thank you to all the nice comments and interesting suggestions you have for my videos and the ideas that maybe I miss or some errors I do. So thank you for commenting, and thank you to all that subscribe to the channel. It really helps. So let's look at the Daemon Prince now. So the Daemon Prince of Nurgle is a very popular HQ character choice for our Death Guard army. He has a high mobility, especially with wings. He is a psyker that can cast some psychic powers. He has some very nice melee weapons, and he has a good leader aura, and therefore with all this he can boost the Death Guard army roster and our lists. His durability can be an issue, but this can also be improved, as I will be discussing in the video. So what weapon options are the best for the Daemon Prince, and what synergies do we have with other Death Guard units, abilities, traits, and stratagems? So let's have a look. And I'm not considering Chaos Demon synergies in this video. I'm not an expert of the Chaos Demons yet, so I think I need to get their book and also delve into their abilities. But now focus on Death Guard synergies. So let's start by looking at the baseline stats. So the Daemon Prince has a high mobility, so can move, has a movement 8 inches without wings, and if you give him the wings, he gets the fly ability and can go 12-inch. The wings are unfortunately become more expensive, and it's plus 35 points to have. My Daemon Prince has wings. This is how I built him, so I normally take it. But then we have a cost of 195 to 200 points, if we depending on the weapon. But if we have the base Daemon Prince without the wings, he's 160 to 165 points. He has a very high accuracy, both weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2+. He has a good strength, a base strength of 7. It could, of course, benefit from a strength 8 to be able to do better wound rolls against some vehicles and monster with toughness 8. His toughness is only 6. He has 8 wounds, and he has a disgusting resilience ability, but his toughness is only 6, so he's not so durable in this respect. He has 4 attacks and a 3+ normal save, and he has a demonic invul save of 5+. Additionally, he has a reroll once to hit aura 6 inches for Death Guard and Nurgle Demon units within 6 inches. And this is gonna, right now it affects all units, but in the going forward, when we get the new codexes, it will only be helpful for core units, and probably not, for example, demon engines, or the Daemon Prince cannot buff himself with his reroll 1 to hit. He has the disgusting resilience, death to the fault, emperor, and hateful assaults, which give him 1 extra attack if he's charging or is charged, or if he does a heroic intervention. And he's a psyker, so he can take 1 psychic power from he knows 1 psychic power from Contagion Discipline, and can cast 1 spell and deny 1 spell per turn. So he's a good all-round character with both some good leadership auras, very high accuracy, good mobility, high strength, and the rerolls, but a bit squishy on the toughness. If we compare his weapon options, if we look at his weapon options, the Daemon Prince base cost is 150 points. He can take the wings for 35 points, and in weapon choices he has the 3 options. So he can take, he's equipped, the standard is a Hellforged sword plus a Malefic Talon, and he can replace his Hellforged sword with either the Demonic Axe, or take 1 more Malefic Talon. So he has 2 Malefic Talons. So there are basically 3 options he can have: Hellforged sword and Malefic Talon, axe and Malefic Talon, and 2 Malefic Talons. If we look at the Hellforged sword, all the weapons are melee weapons, and none of them are plague weapons, unfortunately, for the nice synergies of plague weapons with Death Guard units. The Hellforged sword has the user strength, so basically a strength 7, AP -2, and a flat 3 damage, which can be really good. The demonic axe has a +1 strength, -3 AP, and a straight 3 damage. So immediately it sounds like a better choice, but unfortunately, because it has a strength 8, but unfortunately the Daemon Prince is at -1 to hit with the axe. So instead of a 2+, he's hitting on a 3+. Right now with a reroll once it can help, but going forward he will not be able to reroll the ones for either weapon. If he takes the Malefic Talon, have the user strength, so strength 7, AP -2, and damage 2, which is a flat damage 2 is really good against, for example, Space Marine or infantry units that have a wounds 2 and will be increased from normally wounds 1 to wounds 2 going forward. If he has one Malefic Talon, he gets 1 additional attack for the Talon and +3 additional attacks if he has 2 Talons. So as we see, there are no plague weapons, but if the Daemon Prince has the Hellforged sword, he can take a relic, the Epidemicist blade, which is replaces his sword. So in this case, it's also a melee weapon, but importantly, it's a plague weapon. It has strength +1, AP -2, and damage 3. So it is a strength 8 weapon. And has the plague weapon ability, which is really good compared to the standard Hellforged sword. Additionally, on an unmodified 6 to hit with the Epidemicist blade, it counts as 2 hits. So if you roll a natural 6, then you throw more dice on the wound to wound. So yeah, so we say 3 options in melee. No standard weapons are play weapons, but the relic Epidemicist blade can replace the Hellforged sword. Taking the Epidemicist blade gives the plague weapon ability and allowing for nice synergies that are typical for plague weapons for Death Guard, like blades of putrefaction, psychic power that makes mortal wounds on 6 to wound with a plague weapon, arch contaminator allowing to reroll all missed wound rolls for plague weapons, and the plague weapon itself gets a reroll 1 to wound rolls. Now, if we look at the different weapon options and in melee combat and see which one does the best damage. So here we have the regular table I have been including in my videos of lately. So here is the average damage output for a bunch of different targets. So here on this side we have targets with 4+ invul save. On this side we have targets with no invul saves. And here is a bunch of targets that have 2+ armor save, 3+ armor save, 4+, 5+, etc. And for every bunch of target here, we have the toughness of the opponent going from T3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we can see for different target with a different armor save and toughness how much damage on average every weapon can do. So what we can see here is the Epidemicist blade option, where we get 4 attacks for the Epidemicist blade plus 1 attack for the Malefic Talon. It's the gray line, and it's for all targets it gives a significant increase because basically it can do a little bit more hits on the 6 to hit, and it has a higher strength, and it's a plague weapon re-rolling ones. I haven't in this table I haven't included reroll ones to hit or the Arch Contaminator being close by. If we include the Arch Contaminator, then the Epidemicist blade would increase its damage, but the others would not be affected. So the Epidemicist blade can do even more with the Arch Contaminator and Blades of Putrefaction, for example. We see then number 2 is the yellow line and the blue line, the Malefic Talon only with 7 attacks, and the blue is Hellforged sword with 4 attacks and 1 Malefic Talon attack. Basically, we cannot see the blue line because the yellow and the blue are just over each other. They do exactly the same damage in this analysis. So the Hellforged sword does equal damage to 2 Malefic Talons for less points. It's costing 10 points for the Hellforged sword instead of 15 points to have 2 Malefic Talons. The Malefic Talons should be better for wound 2 targets, however, because then the Hellforged Sword, the flat 3 wound would be, it will not be able to do as many, kill as many 2 wound models as the Malefic Talons. The Hellforged Sword is best for 3 wound targets, of course. With a flat 3 it can kill aggressors and eradicators, while the Malefic Talons you would need 2 hits and going through to kill 1 model, and you would lose 1 wound. The Demonic Axe is the orange line. It's better for some targets, for example here targets with 2+ armor save or 3+ armor save and no invul saves, but and for some high toughness targets. But overall, I think it's better to take the Hellforged Sword or the 2 Malefic Talons, and of course best of all is the Epidemicist Blade. So after the analysis of the weapon options, let's look at the Daemon Prince battlefield role. So as we have seen, the Daemon Prince has very good melee capabilities and is quite expensive. So for this reason, in my opinion, I think to get the value on the battlefield, you need to use him offensively to deal high damage to the opponent, rather than, for example, staying back and babysit demon engines. If you want a character for such a role to stay back and protect some long range shooting weapons and so on, then it's better to take, for example, the Lord of Contagion or the Chaos Lord, because you can give them the reroll once to hit, and you could give them warlord traits and abilities and relics to boost these other units, and they can do it a lot cheaper. The Chaos Lord is half the price of the Daemon Prince, and the Lord of Contagion is 15 points instead of the Daemon Prince being at least 160 or even 190 points. Psychic powers to consider is Blades of Putrefaction to increase the melee damage, or Miasma of Pestilence, for example, could be interesting to make itself more difficult to hit. Although he can do significant damage in melee combat, what typically happens, at least when I have played, is that the opponent can then fall back for the unit I have charged and made significant damage on, and then all other units can shoot at him, and basically your opponent will have your Daemon Prince as a prime target. By only having a toughness 6 and only a 5+ invul save makes him rather squishy and 8 wounds. So if he gets shot by some heavy weaponry, and then he could be dying quite quickly in shooting, and you cannot improve his invul save, unfortunately. So in order to solve this, one example could be to escort the Daemon Prince with and screen him and protect him with some fast-moving mobile units that are also good in melee. For example, the 30th Blowthrone with, for example, speeders, or the Flesh Mower, or a Defiler with 2 melee weapons, or a Plaguebear Scroller with speeders, and then keeping them 3-inch close to the Daemon Prince. Having the Daemon Prince slightly behind, but again, when you charge and with all the units, hopefully, and you kill a lot of the enemy, make sure to try to keep your Daemon Prince not exposed. So when he's escorted in this role by demon engines, the Daemon Prince can take the Ironclad relic from the Poxmonger's Plague Company to give the escort demon engines a 4+ invul. So in this case, you can have he can boost the damage of the demon engines and boost the durability of the demon engines that in turn protect him from being the prime target. Some more methods to increase the Daemon Prince durability itself come on the next page. So there are some interesting alternatives to increase the Daemon Prince durability. So if we look at the warlord traits for the death card, we have a very good one. I think it's a good fit for the Daemon Prince, is Revolting Resilience, which gives +1 to the Disgusting Resilience roll. So for practical purposes, you will have a 4+, feel no pain. So 50% of every damage that go through on average you can ignore. This doesn't help for mortal wounds though. Then we have the Tainted Regeneration, which regain 1 lost wound per own turn. This could help, but I guess it's a bit underwhelming, and especially if he gets shot by some heavy weapons, maybe one wound will not be able to turn the battle around. Hulking physique gives +1 toughness to the warlord. You would be going from toughness 6 to toughness 7, but I'm not sure this really helps. Um, and um, and rotten constitution could be interesting. It reduces the damage by 1 that the Demon Prince takes from various shots to a minimum 1. So if he gets shot a lot by, let's say, damage 2 or 3 weapons, it could be a substantial help. If it's mostly, let's say, bolter type with only damage 1, then it's useless. And if you have a d6, let's say, melt a gun shooting at him, and they do a 6 or 7 damage, then reducing 1 is not really helpful, but the revolting resilience would be in that case quite better. One interesting alternative, if you consider the Wretched Plague Company, is the Warlord trait that is available for Wretched Plague Company. It's called the Eater Plague, and when the Warlord, so if we give our Demon Prince this Warlord trait, when the Demon Prince destroys an enemy model in melee, the Demon Prince can regain 1 lost wound in this manner, and he can regain 3 wounds per phase as a maximum. So if our Demon Prince has a very high hitting, he's very high hitting in melee, and he attacks some infantry, he can get back 3 wounds on each fight phase. So that would also help in the opponent's fight phase. So this could be really interesting. But then you have to take the Wretched Plague Company, and then you cannot use some of, for example, the Poxmongers or some of the other maybe more interesting plague companies. But definitely could be an interesting thing to use with a Demon Prince, that even if he gets shot and gets a few wounds here and there, he can quickly and easily recover them in the fight phase. For relics choices for durability, you could use the Suppurating Plate. It gives a 2+ armor save instead of a 3+ armor save, and in melee combat, when the Demon Prince saves an enemy attack roll, then you throw a d6, and on a 4+, it gives a mortal wound back to the enemy. So the Suppurating Plate could be interesting to both increase the standard armor save of the Demon Prince, and in melee phase it can do even more damage in when your opponent is fighting back. But many times what I have experienced with a Suppurating Plate is that you charge something, if it's very weak, you kill it in any case, and if many times maybe there are not so many wounds that the opponent really gets back that you save, because maybe they are missing if you have miasma and so on. So it could be interesting for the 2+ save, and in my personal experience, I've not gotten a lot mortal wounds back to the enemy. Maybe if you are stuck to some other enemy that really wants to stay there, and you battle back and forth over a couple of fight phases, maybe then it could do some substantial damage to the enemy. And psychic powers for durability, of course, Miasma of Pestilence is an overall good death card psychic power, where if the Demon Prince can cast it on himself, he's -1 to be hit. So it can be very interesting to combine the Epidemicist Blade Relic with the Eater Plague. So you're really doing a lot of damage in melee and recovering wounds. Otherwise, a Suppurating Plate and the Revolting Resilience could be a quite durable combo. So with the Revolting Resilience, you have a 5+ invul, a 2+ base save, and you have the 4+ Disgusting Resilience. So this would really frustrate your opponent trying to get rid of your Demon Prince. If we look at ways to increase the damage of the Demon Prince, then of course a Warlord trait, Arch Contaminator, rerolling missed wound rolls for melee weapons, all plague weapons, reroll missed wound rolls for plague weapons. Especially it will be the Epidemicist Blade, or if you have the units escorting the Demon Prince, they would benefit, their plague weapons would benefit from the Arch Contaminator, of course. The relics, as we said, Epidemicist Blades, replacing the Hellforged Sword. We saw before it was the most, it really can do a lot of damage. And then the Suppurating Plate also has the ability to give more wounds in the fight phase back to the enemy. The psychic power, its blades of putrefaction +1 to wound, and the plague weapons 6 to wound unmodified give plague weapons 6 to wound, give additional mortal wound. So he benefits for with the mortal wounds only if he has the epidemesis blade, but he would benefit on the +1 to wound with his other weapon if he casts it on himself. Some interesting stratagems for the Demon Prince to increase his damage is the Soul Harvest for 1 command point in the fight phase, and it can be used on a Demon Prince with a Hellforged sword or the axe. So I don't think it applies to when he replaces his sword with the Epidemesis blade. However, if he has the sword or the axe, he gets +3 attacks, but unfortunately he can only in that case only target infantry. So I guess this could be helpful if you need to fight off a big bunch of tough infantry, and then you have more attacks. But if it's very weak, like a horde type infantry, then probably the Malefic Talons give you already a lot of attacks to take a big unit out. But if you are stuck with let's say a horde type enemy, and in fight phase and you want to clear them off, then this could be used. So if you fight in vehicles, of course, this doesn't help at all. Another stratagem that could be interesting, especially if we have taken the Wretched Plague Company, because this is only for Wretched Company, the Sevenfold Blessings for 1 command point is an upgrade for a Psyker before battle, and the Demon Prince is a Psyker, and this allows a Psyker to reroll 1 dice of the Psychic test. So basically with this, maybe you can be more consistent in casting. The Demon Prince can buff himself more consistently, not missing, for example, a Blades of Putrefaction or Miasma of Pestilence or casting Smite that he has. But I guess if you are taking this and you have some plague, if you're taking the Malignant Plague Caster, maybe it's better to use it on him, because then you can cast 2 abilities with a Plague Caster compared to only 1 with a Demon Prince. But could be an interesting build if you're considering the Wretched Plague Company. So final summary and final thoughts. So we have seen that Demon Prince can do significant damage in melee. The best damage is done by using the Relic Epidemesis blade. The Hellforged sword gives similar damage to 2 Malefic Talons. The Malefic Talons are better against 2 wound targets, for example, the most regular Space Marine infantry going forward, and the Hellforged sword is better against straight wound targets, 3 wound targets or higher, for example, Eradicators, Aggressors, Terminators, etc. The demonic axe can have some better damage output for some targets, but typically the -1 to hit is not very helpful. So overall, best option I think for the Demon Prince is the Hellforged sword. And I think it gives you most flexibility. You can do damage for both, and you have the flexibility to upgrade it with a relic. So unfortunately, when I did my Demon Prince, I equipped him with 2 talons. So I'm trying to find a Hellforged sword now. I can maybe magnetize and put on one of his arms. So in my opinion, the Demon Prince is best for an offensive melee role, but squishy for the points. And there are ways to increase the durability and the melee damage. For some examples, for example, escort or screen the Demon Prince by the help of fast demon engines, and make the demon engines more durable in this case, and more let's say damage output. So for example, here you could have the Warlord trait Arch Contaminator, Ironclad Furnace Relic choosing the Poxmonger's Plague Company, Miasma of Pestilence or Blades to assist, for example, a Furtive Blow Drone. You can make a durable Demon Prince by itself by using the Suppurating Plate Relic with a Revolting Resilience Warlord trait, or you can have the Epidemesis Plate and the Revolting Resilience to do more damage and also have the durability. And then here you could use the Blades of Putrefaction Psychic Power with the Epidemesis Blade. And the interesting option with a Wretched Plague Company, taking the Ether Plague Warlord trait plus the Epidemesis Blade Relic, and the Blades of Purification, and you can have the stratagem Sevenfold Blessing for more consistent casting of a psychic power. So in this case, he's not more durable, but he can regain a lot of wounds, so he's more like a vampire rolling. And then, of course, the Demon Prince has the leadership aura, reroll once to hit. Of course, all Death Card and Demon units close to him can benefit from this at the moment, but going forward, it will only be core units, and therefore maybe the reroll ability would be less significant in the future. And I think if you, for example, you could maybe also have a Demon Prince going with your Plague Marines into battle, but then the Plague Marines are quite slow, and then you don't benefit so much of the Demon Prince mobility. So with these words, this concludes the video. What do you think? What are your thoughts on using the Demon Prince in different roles, and have you considered some other abilities and relics and traits for the Demon Prince? So please leave a comment with your ideas and suggestions, or if you have some questions to my analysis. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps. And yeah, leave a comment. So with these words, General Yanis is signing out, and stay safe out there, and bye bye.